We're going to start in a minute. I'm Susan Freudenheim, Executive Director of Jewish World Watch. We'll be starting in a minute. Welcome. Welcome to my home and to everyone else's home. We'll be starting in a minute. We're just waiting for everyone to join us. Almost ready.
Oh, that's a difference or not?
Almost ready? Should I go?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this April morning. For about 15 years or so, we've been walking and raising our voices to tell the world that we want to end genocide and mass atrocities worldwide now. And this year, obviously, we can't be out there marching together, but we can be together in spirit. I guess the one advantage is that it's pretty hot out there today, so maybe you're a little bit cooler inside your houses. So welcome. It's going to be a very, very interesting morning with lots of different parts. Your participation is critical because you are the ones who are helping us to show the world that there's a world of people who care about those who are far more vulnerable than we are here in the United States. We're going to start this morning with Dr. Omekongo Dibinja, who is a poet, a Congolese activist, an upstander, and a professor at American University. He's going to lead us all in a interactive piece to get us started, to wake us up, and to inspire us. So Omekongo, take it away. Please participate.
Thank you. Greetings, everyone around the world. I want you to join me and please repeat after me. The future is mine.
The future is mine.
The future is great.
The future is great.
But now is the time.
But now is the time.
To stand up to hate.
To
stand up to hate. Let's do that one more time. The future is mine.
The future is mine.
The future is great.
The future is great.
But now is the time.
But now is the time.
To stand up to hate.
stand up to hate.
I'm so happy and honored to be joining you all for this virtual gathering. I'm going to be sharing my poetry a little bit later, but while you're here today, I just want you to be focused and centered on all of the great work that Jewish World Watch is doing, all of the great work that you all out there who are activists in other areas and fields and organizations are doing, and we're going to continue to focus on how we can come together. I'm excited to share some poetry with you later, but right now I want to turn it over to the great Janice Kaminer-Resnick, the founder of Jewish World Watch.
Rabbi Shaw has inspired me to always be examining my life, to think about what my purpose is and what my place is in the world. That is why 16 years ago, I agreed to work with him to establish Jewish World Watch in response to the Darfur genocide. Over the millennia, Jews have been repeatedly traumatized and victimized, almost to the point of extinction. We, as well as any group in the world, and maybe even more, know what that feels like. That is why today, as groups are targeted for whatever reason, whether it's because of their tribal identity, their religion, whatever it is, we must be there to speak out and to lend support in any way we can. I urge you to continue to support Jewish World Watch and our amazing work, because now more than ever, our message is alarmingly resonant. Do not stand idly by, and in the words of Rabbi Hillel, if not now, when?
Thank you, Janice. Thank you, Ome. We're going to move in a minute to our conversation between Ann Strumoff Durbin, our Director of Advocacy and Grant Making, and our partner in the, our longtime partner in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Amani Tom, who runs a school there and has worked with us to help survivors of genocide and mass atrocities for many, many years, which they will talk about. And after their conversations concludes, they're going to take questions. The way that's going to work is that you should put your question in the Q&A section, not the chat, but the Q&A section. We will read them and try to get as many as possible to the panelists, to Ann and to Amani, so that they can answer your questions directly. But first, we're going to have a few words from some of the elected officials who JWW is so lucky to be able to call our supporters.
Anytime soon.
I'm Los Angeles City Controller Ron Galperin. This month we commemorate both Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day, and Armenian Genocide Remembrance Day. Despite calls and promises of never again, we have in fact seen it happen again and again in Cambodia, Rwanda, Bosnia, Sudan, Myanmar, Syria, and more. Too many in our world simply stand by. But not Jewish World Watch, which brings us together to stand up to genocide, hatred, bigotry, anti-Semitism, discrimination, and torture through education, advocacy, and funding. On behalf of the City of Los Angeles, thank you, Jewish World Watch, for the life-changing work that you do.
I'm proud to join with you today in this unprecedented virtual gathering in support of Jewish World Watch's vital work. Our current crisis underscores our deep connection to each other and how the fates of those across the world are closely tied to ours. Today, let's reaffirm the words of Rabbi Schulweis of blessed memory, a co-founder of Jewish World Watch. Our silence is lethal. In the face of atrocities that deny our common humanity, our silence is lethal. By standing with Jewish World Watch, we commit to being silent no more. We commit to a powerful form of activism that has the power to help prevent the next genocide from ever occurring. Thank you, Jewish World Watch.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Ann Durbin. I'm the Director of Advocacy and Grant Making, and it is my honor to introduce the remarkable Amani Tom. He is part of the JWW family. He has been our beloved and fearless partner for many years now. Amani has created an incredible school in South Kivu called the Congo Peace School. It infuses principles of human rights, peace, conflict resolution, and leadership into all aspects of its curriculum, and provides free education to war-affected children, many of whom are orphans or former child soldiers. He also runs an organization for war-affected women and children called ABFAC, and he's joining us today from South Kivu. It's nighttime there, so it's thank you so much for staying up and for being with us today, Amani.
Thanks very much, Anne, for making this happen. I'm so proud to be part of the Jewish World Watch family.
Amani, we're here today to talk about your work and also the specific impact that COVID-19 has had on the people of the Congo and on your organizations. Can you speak a little bit about what it is that you do in the Congo and how Jewish World Watch has helped you realize your dreams for your community?
Thanks very much, Anne. As I just said, I'm so much very proud of being not only a partner with Jewish World Watch, but also part of the bigger family. I am so proud to have been working with Jewish World Watch because our partnership is not only a life-changing partnership, but it is also life-saving. We have been working together for almost 10 years now. And we have seen a big change that our partnership has made in the lives of the children that we have taken out from mining, that we have taken out from the streets, that we have taken out from nowhere, but today their lives have changed because of the support we gave them to give them an education. We have schooled more than 3,000 children since we started working together. And today, there are people who are now able to change lives in their everyday community lives. Working with Jewish World Watch has not only changed and saved the lives of our direct beneficiaries, but it has also changed my life and how I look at life. It has given me a new inspiration, a new hope to continue moving forward, because at the moment, many organizations are focusing on domestic issues because it is a global emergency right now. But look, Jewish World Watch is not only focusing on what is happening in the US, but it is also focusing on what is happening in the Congo. Because of our partnership, we are able to stand up and respond and provide emergency response to the COVID-19, which is killing many people around the world, including the Democratic Republic of Congo. Yeah.
Amani, thank you so much for those kind words. The feeling is mutual. You really are a hero to all of us and a part of our family. So it means so much to us to be able to support you as your country grapples with this very serious pandemic, which has many different implications in a country like the Congo than it does here in the United States. So I was hoping that you could let us in on how the Congolese government has responded to the threat of COVID-19 and how that has affected populations that you work with.
The Congolese government, like any other government in the world today, are trying to stand up and do something. But in a particular context, like the context of DRC, where the health system is almost non-existing in many places, COVID-19 is a big threat. And our government has been using the compulsory control measures like the shutdown. But in my sense, I would say that the compulsory control measures should be adjusted to the context that the local communities are facing. In a context of Congo, when you ask people to stay home and don't go outside, but people struggle every day. We are in a context where people go out to look for what they will survive on today. They find something today, they eat today, and they forget about tomorrow because people live on average $50 every day. So the lockdowns and all the compulsory control measures are harming the livelihoods of the people. People are much more afraid of hunger than afraid of the pandemic itself. People are not obeying the orders by the government because the lockdowns is a serious problem. People are going to die of hunger. I am even concerned that hunger in the Congo is going to kill more than the COVID-19 will. But we are so lucky. We are so lucky with our partnership with Jewish World Watch. We are able to work with seamstresses, local seamstresses. We are trying to find local solutions. We are trying to respond locally with the means we have. And thank you so much again, Jewish World Watch, for supporting us at the moment. We are making masks that people can use. So many people are not able to even access masks. But thanks to Jewish World support, we are making masks with local supporters, with local seamstresses who were trained in our vocational skills training. So with that, we are running a community, a volunteer community program, where volunteers are going out with loudspeakers to make sure people understand, people are educated, and their awareness is raised on this pandemic, which is pervading our world. We are distributing, yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I know that your country is just coming off of an Ebola epidemic where there was very deep community distrust in the government, such that a lot of people were not listening to health professionals or believing that Ebola was a real disease. They felt like it was manufactured by the government as a means of sowing chaos and disenfranchising them. I'm wondering, number one, how you think the Congo can take on a new disease of such a scale as COVID-19 right on the heels of Ebola, and also how people are perceiving the threat of COVID-19. Are they taking it seriously? Do they believe that it's a real thing? And if not, how are you countering the misinformation with the work that you do?
The thing is that in many places, especially in rural areas where the number of uneducated, illiterate people is very high, many people are again distracting the government. They are saying this COVID-19 is manufactured somewhere. But what we are doing is that's why we are developing this community volunteering program to make sure we educate and raise the awareness of the community members so as they can respect the practices, so as they can respect and use the hygienic practices, but also make sure they trust health professionals and not attack them, as was the case during the Ebola outbreak. So it is very, very difficult, but we are trying to make sure people understand that they have to take care of themselves by practicing the hygienic practices.
Yes, much of the assessment after the fact of Congo's response to the Ebola epidemic was that it was somewhat of a failure because of the lack of community buy-in and community involvement. So I just want to thank you for really risking the lives of the members of your organization and your own life to take the helm in raising the awareness of these last mile villages, of these members of your community. Yeah, because it is critical to have an effective response to a disease like that. I think that Ebola has demonstrated that a lack of community engagement and buy-in, led to the epidemic stretching on for over 18 months, and now cases are resurfacing. I don't think enough was done with Ebola to really bring community into the response. So you're doing a tremendous thing for the people of South Kivu, because you are this well-respected, beloved leader there. The fact that you're going out and putting your life on the line and touching all of these different villages within your area. It's a tremendous thing, and I really believe in you. We all believe in you, and we know that you will succeed in this. I wanted to share one of the things that Amani is doing. I've been showing pictures as he talks about different things, but here is one of the signs that he's created. He's translated it into Swahili, and it goes through all of the means of, you know, preventing infection and how to take care of yourself, how to social distance. And as you can see, he highlights his partnership with Jewish World Watch here. So Amani, in addition to creating signs like this and using these amazing seamstresses to create these really beautiful masks, what are some of the other interventions that you're doing in your COVID-19 response at the community level?
The other intervention, thanks, Anne. The other interventions we are doing is to use community radio spots, local community radio spots. In places where we cannot reach out to people, we use a local community radio spots where we spend a few minutes explaining this pandemic and how dangerous it is, and calling people to take responsibility, because it is requirement, individual responsibility and collective responsibility. Everyone has a role to play to stop this pandemic. We are asking people to make sure they put into practices the hygienic practice through the community radio spots. We are going out with our loudspeakers, with our young boys and young girls who are our volunteers. Tomorrow we'll be able to share photos and show you what's going on. We want, during our radio sports, we are also sending strong messages to even local militia to make sure they stop fighting, because their fight is going to force people to leave. With the movement of people, with forced movement of population, the disease will spread. So we are speaking to everyone to make sure everyone has a role to play in stopping this pandemic. Even the rebel group, they have a role to play by stopping fighting. Yeah.
Do you feel like rebel groups have been responsive? Do they understand the threat that the population is facing? Because just to give some context, it's typical in an environment like the Congo, where there isn't really a functioning government, where there's a lot of corruption, that a lot of armed actors will exploit certain weak points in order to wreak havoc or get access to natural resources and subjugate local populations. How do you kind of overcome that in your work? And do you see that already happening with around COVID-19? Because I've been reading that there's a lot of intercommunal violence in the Ituri province, for example. Or do you feel like there is a sense of the country somehow banding together to try to create a bulwark against the onslaught of this disease?
In some places like Ituri, in some places like the Ituri area, where the clash is between the Hema and the Lendu are ongoing. What we are planning to do is we have masses and piles of pamphlets. We want to ask MONUSCO, because they can fly. We want to ask MONUSCO if they can really, with their helicopters, if they can throw our pamphlet there with the key messages. No matter who they are, no matter who we are, we are asking everyone to play a positive role in stopping the pandemic, because the pandemic doesn't care. The pandemic doesn't care, militia or not militia. The pandemic doesn't choose. It doesn't choose the race. It doesn't choose what you're trusting. It doesn't choose what you are doing. But we want the militia to stop continuing forcing people to leave the area with the movement, which is going to spread the disease. What is happening in South Kivu, in the highland of Itombo? We have seen local militias who have continued fighting and forcing people to flee their homes and their areas. We want to do the same thing. We have already started our request to MONUSCO, which is the UN multinational forces for peace in Congo. We want to ask them if they can really help us just spread our pamphlet to the local militias, to make sure everyone has the message and nobody will say, we didn't know. We want to put everyone in front of his responsibility while we are doing our own responsibility to stop this pandemic. And that is being possible because of our most efficient partnership with Jewish World Watch. Again, thank you.
No, thank you, Amani. I think that that's a tremendous example of your adaptability and incredible resiliency in the face of any challenge that comes at you. I can't highlight enough how incredible it has been to see your organization evolve and how you're always moving and shifting in order to meet the needs of your community in the most robust and meaningful way. And Jewish World Watch is so honored to be alongside you in that journey and hopefully there to move along with you. You mentioned that hunger is your greatest concern because essentially what's happening is that the Congolese government is ordering quarantine measures, but it's not stepping in to fill the gaps that those measures create, right? So, it's not opening up food pantries for the poorest to gain access to food. It's not providing daycare so that, health workers can be at the front lines. All of those things that are happening in functioning, governments, they're not there in the Congo. So that's why food insecurity has emerged as potentially the greatest threat to the population there. What is your organization doing? How are you adapting to what you see as the largest threat to the people of the Congo posed by COVID-19?
As a result, at the negative side of the lockdown and other compulsory control measures, so many people are hungry. People are extremely hungry because they can't move on and go and do their little trades. The borders between DRC's 9 neighboring countries are closed. These borders being closed, the movement of the population going back and forth to and from those countries is locked down. The South Kivu province, where I'm speaking from right now, depends on Rwanda and the North Kivu province in terms of food at 79%. So hunger is going higher and higher in South Kivu. And again, thanks to Jewish World Watch, the day after tomorrow, we are organizing a food item distribution in the community of Momosho to make sure elderly people who are the mostly exposed people to the COVID-19 and to hunger as a result of the lockdowns and these compulsory control measures, we are giving them food on which they can survive for almost 1 month. Maybe the disease will have been already controlled and contained within 1 month. We don't know. So we are trying to do what we can. And again, thank you to Jewish World Watch for making our dream possible and accepting to work with us on this emergency food distribution program.
It's our honor. And I wanted to also talk about the Congo Peace School, which is your brainchild and your passion project. It's a truly extraordinary place. I haven't had the pleasure of visiting yet, but I hope to do so once all of this is over. But it really looks like a Los Angeles private school. It's incredible what you have built there. And as I said before, all of the children go there for free. Many of them have been affected by ongoing conflict in the Congo. Many of them are orphans, and they rely on the Peace School for their only guaranteed meal of the day. So with school closures happening as part of the quarantine, how have you repurposed the Congo Peace School to meet the needs of your community members?
Yeah, schools are closed in Peace School, but our vision and our mission are not closed. We have continued working. We have continued with our food program because around the school there are some children. We have 50 to 60% of our student population are children coming from families, living in host families where they cannot afford to have a single meal a day. So we are organizing food program at school. A group of 20 children are coming after every hour to come and eat. And every day we are making sure 167 children have been served a meal to make sure they don't die from hunger as a consequence of COVID-19. That is one. Two is we are working with the community members, developing a school community approach to make sure we are adjusting our organic farming program to an emergency context where we are fighting against food insecurity by planting vegetables which can grow within a week, 2 weeks, like amaranth, and we make sure we harvest and children can eat in some families around the school, but also the school can provide can provide supplement to the children who are coming to school. So that's what we are trying to do in addition to raising and educating the rest of the community members on COVID. We are also doing something on the ground in an emergency context to make sure people are still able to get at least something to eat, but focusing on 50% of our student population until the COVID-19 ends again. We don't want to stand idly by.
No, you never do, Amani. If anyone is realizing the promise of never again and the rallying call of do not stand by, it is you, my friend. I just wanted to put a little bit of a human context to everything that we've been discussing. I think a really powerful project that you have taken on as one of the many ways that you are pivoting in order to protect your community from COVID-19 is the creation of these masks. I'm gonna share a photo real quick. Bear with me oh, there he is. I was gonna share that photo, but I'll share this one instead. So there's Amani in the mask, and this is how the masks are being produced. So one of the projects that ABFEC runs is a vocational training program for women who are survivors of gender-based violence. Of course, gender-based violence has been wielded as a weapon of war, systematically deployed against women and children throughout the decades of conflict in the Congo. And one of the tremendous things that ABFEC has done is to give these women, empower these women with skills so that they can have a new lease on life. Many of them are young mothers, if I'm speaking correctly, Amani. And
Yeah.
They go through a vocational training program where they graduate with a sewing machine and become part of a co-op that can create these beautiful pieces with traditional fabric. This co-op provided Jewish World Watch with stunning napkins to give to our supporters at our annual gala last year, Global Soul. And now these women are working to create masks that are quite literally saving lives. Amani, do you have a story to tell about any of these seamstresses that you feel kind of captures the full circle in terms of who is benefiting from your very comprehensive programming for the people of South Kivu?
Yeah, thanks very much, Anne. We have so many stories, but I'm going to capture the story. I'm going to share the story of this young woman in the photo called Bahati. She is first in the left. Bahati is an amazing young woman who lost her husband when she was only 22, and a few years later, Bahati had no hope because her husband died on HIV after Bahati was herself raped and she was infected by HIV. After death of her husband, she didn't know what to do. She didn't know where to go. but she had already 3 children, her own children. Her husband, who was older, far older than her, than Bahati, had left her also 3 children. So Bahati has 6 children in total to support what she had no source of income. Bahati registered in our program a few years ago. When she joined the program, Bahati was very depressed. Bahati was having a very, very high level of trauma, but we did an individual counseling through our psychosocial program, speaking to Bahati, giving her a new hope and encouraging her. Bahati chose to join the sewing program. After 1 year, Bahati graduated. After graduation, Bahati went back home with her graduation kit. She started her own business, and today, Bahati is able to school her own children. She's feeding her own children, and she was recruited in the mask production program. She's able to make an income, even if she's an HIV positive, and she's able to buy food in a normal situation. She's only struggling because of the COVID-19, but now she's a strong person. She can stand up. She has a new hope after the program, and we have seen how our program, thanks to your support, is giving people a new hope. And there are so many stories like Bahati, but Bahati is just an example showing how strong Congolese women are, African women are, no matter the challenges. We believe that after the COVID-19, we'll be happy to share Bahati's testimony and how she's being part of this contingent, saving lives, making these masks. Every day, Bahati is making more than 25 masks. And she's very happy when she sees people wearing or using the masks. So Bahati is an example of how your support is making a huge impact and a huge difference in the everyday lives of people here on the ground. There are so many examples of
Mani, thank you so much for sharing that incredible story and for all that you do. You have touched countless people's lives. And again, we are so honored to be able to support you in doing that. You are a real hero, not just in the Congo, but here as well, all over the world. People should look to you as an example of just superhuman love and resilience. Those women may have it, but you do too. And the questions have been pouring in. So I think we're going to shift and answer some of the questions from the many people who are on this webinar today. Thank you all for joining. I'm going to ask a few because we're running out of our designated time. But one of them is, what kind of medical care is available to your community? And are you doing anything with local clinics, for example, to help in the COVID-19 response?
To be honest, I will not be able to tell you that there is an available medical protocol that is being made available at the moment. One of my closest friends, has been tested positive to COVID-19 almost 2 months ago. But he was taken in a quarantine place, in a quarantine center. He tested negative 22 days after, but he told me that it was only, they took care of him, giving him a chloroquine. But I will not say that there is an existing protocol, that medical protocol that we are seeing here in South Kivu. The testing, there are so many people. We guess that there are so many people who are having COVID-19 here today. But the testing system is almost non-existing. But otherwise, there are so many people because we have seen the cases, the number in cases going up exponentially almost every day.
Amani, and I wanted to share another intervention that you're doing here. Bear with me a second. So can you talk a little bit about what this is and where they're going?
This is a hand a hand wash kit. This is a hand wash kit with a liquid soap, and this is part of the kit. This is part of the anti-coronavirus, the anti-corona campaign kit that we are giving to local clinics. We don't have running water every day. That's why we thought of putting some water in the bucket. You can go and fetch water somewhere and put the water in the bucket, and you can use the soap, and community members can use soaps in places with large population, and at least wash their hands to make sure the virus does not spread. Yeah.
That's amazing, Amani. Another person is asking about your safety. The question goes, because of some of the DRC population's distrust of the government, Mr. Tom, have you received any threats? If so, how do you respond?
For the since the coronavirus erupted, I haven't had any threat yet. But as you know, we are on the front line where human rights are not respected. We led a non-violent movement a few months ago saying no against the theft of poor people's land here. We've been getting so many death threats, but this is where we have been created to make a difference. We are here. We need also to respond to these threats, but non-violently. We don't want to respond violence by violence, violence by love. Love is always stronger than violence.
Yes, it is. And that is the key message that you are teaching at the Congo Peace School to the future generation of Congolese, who I think, having you as a mentor, they will really be upstanders and change makers in their communities. You are truly shifting, the mindset and the underlying, belief system, I think, in your country, little by little. So it is so incredibly inspiring, risking your life every single day, and really making a difference. One other person asks, would Amani consider selling the masks abroad, perhaps through JWW, to continue our support of the women and community? What do you think, Amani?
I would very much like to send these masks, but at the moment the borders are shut down and we cannot send them via the Rwandan post office, which we use. But I will ask if it is possible to do it from here. It's almost impossible. We need to cross the border to go to Rwanda.
But even though we can't wear these beautiful masks here, they really are saving lives. So if you are interested, you can certainly help purchase masks for the community members of South Kivu who really have no other options, right? I mean, you are providing the only masks that I assume are even available to people in your community. That's a tremendous thing, and they cost so little, but they're reusable, they're rewashable. You're handing them out to the most vulnerable members of your community for free. That's an amazing thing. So even though we can't wear them here, we can contribute to saving lives there by providing these masks to the most vulnerable, right?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So many people are not able to afford or buy the masks. Any support in that way, helping people access the masks here, will be life-saving. Thank you so much.
So it's coming time for us to wrap up. I just wanted to consolidate some of the things that we've been talking about. Amani, of course, runs his Congo Peace School that he has now repurposed to be an around-the-clock kitchen for the most vulnerable children in his community. We have allowed him to use JWW funding for this purpose and pivot our project support to enable him to do this. He is also creating these incredible masks with the help of these seamstresses, these survivors, He's creating these hand washing stations. He's distributing emergency food supplies to provide the most vulnerable community members with at least 30 days of food so that they can self-isolate and social distance without threatening themselves in the midst of this quarantine. So all of this is going on. We've issued Amani emergency funds to be able to do this incredible work. And I just, oh, it looks like we have, yeah. And I just wanted to emphasize to everyone on this call that Jewish World Watch's work and Amani's work wouldn't be possible without your support. All of our project funding comes from you guys, and it has enabled us to be able to meet Amani's changing needs with urgency and immediacy. And we are so grateful for everything that you do to enable us to continue doing what we do so that Amani can continue doing the incredible work that he does. Amani, do you want to say anything in closing before we wrap up?
I want to thank everyone. I want to thank all the JWW family, all the supporters, all the amazing team doing the work at the office, and everyone around the world supporting this amazing work. The message I have to wrap up is, know that the support you are giving to Jewish World Watch is making a huge difference here. It is not only life-changing, but it is life-saving. So your support is saving lives here, not only through our organization, but through all the partners that Jewish World Watch is supporting on the ground in the Congo and everywhere else in the world. Thank you so much.
To support Jewish World Watch's projects like this one you just heard about, please visit jww.org/give. Thank you so much, Amani. We love you. I hope that you rest well tonight. This was amazing. We're so grateful for your time and your heart and your vision. And yeah, we'll speak soon. Take care, dear friend. Thank you.
So much. Bye.
Bye. And now some words from Jewish World Watch's longtime friend, Rabbi Ari Averbach.
About 15 years ago, I first heard Rabbi Schulweiss's vision for Jewish World Watch, and I heard Janice Kaminer-Resnick talk about her trip to the refugee camps outside of Darfur. I went to work the next day, quit my job, and emailed Janice asking if I could volunteer for JWW. It changed the course of my life. I'm so happy that I did that, working with them both as an employee and as a volunteer has really been meaningful work, incredible work. I'm so proud of everything that they do.
Good afternoon, everybody. I've really been impacted by so much of what I've been hearing and seeing, and I'm just honored to be part of this program today. And the first piece that I'm sharing with you all is a piece that I was inspired to write after seeing all of the incredible work that Jewish World Watch has been doing since before I was even working with them. And since I've been working with them, just every day I'm more impressed. And this first poem is a tribute to the great work that Jewish World Watch and its partners have been doing around the world. They say the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. And they say never judge a man until you've walked a mile in his shoes. Both scenarios are harder when you have no shoes. When you wake up wondering again just how you might lose. When you shake up thinking of how to pay school fees and dues. Yes, it can give you the blues and leave you confused. Trying to live your best muse and it feels like a ruse. Believing that the world has abandoned you. But one day you wake up and you realize that you're not alone. You realize that others are fighting to help you save your home. You realize some have been on your side as you fight to end genocide. You realize that others want this mass atrocity to be an anomaly. You realize that there are more who want peace in the schools and in your streets. And sometimes it takes a preacher to see you through, and sometimes it takes a teacher to be with you, and sometimes it takes a mayor or two. But you must never forget that it all started with you. It's sad that some see that basic human rights ain't that basic. And it's very sad, but we're fighting to make sure that the whole world ain't complacent. For on the side of humanity, we will always be adjacent. Because even with no shoes, just like today, we can walk to end genocide. With no boots, we can help others hold their heads with pride. If we listen closely, we can hear her voice telling us that we must bear witness to the tragedies of the world before it turns to dust. We must do the work to save that boy or girl. And if they don't hear us, we must cry louder and louder and cry louder out to the world. Because a wise woman once said that those who suffer need us to amplify their voices. And some of us with the megaphone, we need to make better choices. But here we've conspired to never retire. And rather than retire, we just get rewired. We will never be overwhelmed. We will never be deterred. We will never stay defeated if we stay inspired to globally end all war, to do even more for Darfur, to use permagardening to stop hearts permanently hardening, from the beautiful souls of the Virunga to the powerful people known as Rohingya. Sometimes providing a little shelter can make someone's life better. When we're seriously committed, we can help refugees find refuge, get them proper medical care and housing to survive the deluge. We build these homes so no one can hemorrhage hope, because sometimes all you need to help is a small extension of rope. Because living your best life is only attainable when your life is suitably sustainable. We know that few are guilty, but all are responsible. But in our hearts, we hold the hope of what's possible. And some may not understand why we do this work. And some may not understand why sometimes our hearts hurt. But we stand on the shoulders of those who don't quit. We stand on the shoulders of those with true grit. We stand on the shoulders of those who walked so that we can fly. And for all of those reasons, we will not stand idly by. I call that piece Global Soul because that piece was written to represent the global soul of an amazing organization. And for me, working with Jewish World Watch, I first started working with Jewish World Watch years ago on a project that we were doing relating to the Congo. When I see the incredible work that Amani is doing and so many other people out there, this next piece that I want to share with you all is dedicated to what's taking place in the Congo and the activism of the Congolese, as well as people within the Jewish World Watch community. But it's also something that I want to share as a warning to us all, because as it has been said throughout our presentation today, we have to remember that silence is compliance. And just sitting down and thinking that you're doing nothing, thinking that you're not part of the problem, you are actually part of the problem if you are not actively working to be part of the solution. There's no middle ground as it relates to doing this work to ending genocide and mass atrocities. And let me give you another story relating to Congo to help you realize that we all have a part to play. The world's richest country, now the poorest. A chorus of women's cries across a corrupted country in demise. International lies hide the truth of our turmoil, raping our country of our women, tungsten, coltan, and gold. Young girls now a commodity. It's no longer an oddity. Child soldiers watching bullets and not birds fly over their sky, so that we can sit pretty with our PlayStations, laptops, and iPhones. I roam alone across Africa's first world war, starving a country, but feeding the globe. Little babies dying so we can have a cell phone and warm home, an Xbox, a TV, a computer, a flat screen, flatlining the dreams of millions of Congolese, never quite able to control their destiny. Mineral gifts turn to curses, body bags with no hearses, babies bouncing from the womb to the tomb in a matter of minutes. But in a minute, you can decide to help turn this tide. Raise your voice for the people. Raise hope for the Congo. Turn your cell phone into a microphone and speak knowledge to your college. Tell these computer companies that we need conflict-free products. Realize that you're a fool if you don't check the trail of those jewels. You see, diamonds and gold be the fuel to this fire. How can gold become a cancer? I'm searching for an answer in a land where diamonds are not a girl's best friend. But together, working with the Congolese, we can all change this direction. If we all decide to raise our voices and each one teach one, reach one in our grasp and make an army of change, an army of conscious consumers and not soldiers to the same old sympathetic solution to political and profitable prostitution. The true resolution is empowering our women. The center of our land must be made whole once again. The backbone of our nation must be realigned. When our women can stand proudly, our country will once again have its spine. The pride of our future lies in our young boys. The heart of our future lies in our young girls. Congo's future is in all of our hands if we all understand that we're all in this together. So let's all raise hope and take a stand for our land. I call that piece Raise Hope for Congo because I believe that we all need to be engaged in doing the work to raise hope. And that speaks also to the issue of conflict minerals. And when you look at some of the challenges that Jewish World Watch and other organizations that are on this platform right now watching this event are doing, we know that many of the conflicts that we're seeing around the world as it relates to mass atrocities and genocide come down to governmental policies and disrespect for different populations. And every single day, we have an opportunity to be a voice for the voiceless, to fight for those people. And I've learned so much about different communities just working with Jewish World Watch. And just recently, just a few weeks ago, I was out in Los Angeles with Jewish World Watch. And what we were doing is we were going locally to schools, working with teachers, working with students about how they can be an upstander, not a bystander. How they can be a part of Jewish World Watch's Teen Ambassador program and get involved in the fight to make change. And it was very powerful because we went to private schools, to public schools, to Jewish schools, and everywhere we went, we found young activists just wanting to get out there and be inspired and get out there and do the work. And one of the assistant principals in one of the schools that we went to, she was what we call a Uyghur, somebody who's part of the Chinese Muslim community, who's also being oppressed. So many people talk about China being, uniformity, but there's so much oppression that's going on, and the Muslim population there is also struggling and suffering. And what I love about what Jewish World Watch is doing is that it's not watching over the Jewish community around the world, it's watching the world, to make sure that this attitude, this belief, this philosophy that emerged out of the Jewish community of never again really is something that is not just taught, that we're actually putting action to this, that we're actually doing the work. And so every day when I see the projects and the programs that Amani and other people around the world are doing, whether it's with the solar cookers and different projects, I'm continually inspired to do this work. And quite honestly, this is why I get up every day. There is one more poem that I want to share with you all, which is entitled Grow Towards Your Greatness, which is a call to action for all of us just to continue to be great. And I want to also remind us that, someone asked a very powerful question to Amani about whether we can, buy those masks. And I would love to support that and wear those masks as well. But we also have to remember that if we're here in the United States watching this cast, it's something that we don't need. But it doesn't mean that we still can't support through Jewish World Watch, through donating money to make sure that, Amani and other projects that they are doing and across the world can be supported. And we have to remember that when they say, a lot of people, you ever heard that saying? They say, many are called, that few are chosen. Well, I like to switch it up. I feel like the chosen few are the few who chose. And we are the ones who chose to do this work. And every single day, we may get up and we may be depressed, we may be not focused and not motivated, but that's when we have to turn to each other. We have to turn to each other to remember that we have to lean on each other every single day, because we need help to remain strong every single day. And so this last piece I'm going to share with you all is entitled Grow Towards Your Greatness, because we are great. And though we may get down, we can never get destroyed, because we are a great people. And thank you, Jewish World Watch, for everything that you all are doing to help people around the world remember just that. They say that greatness is a choice, but what have you chosen? You've been frozen in time and broken in mind. For too long, the same song playing in your head, living in breath, but better off dead. But who said that you didn't have the power? Who said this is not your hour? You've been showered with a steady stream of words that kill your dreams. But since you're still breathing, then someone has lied to you, tried to deny you of your own potential inside you. If you just decide to, let no one deride you. Don't even let them get beside you as you unearth the new you. Stop listening to naysayers and decide to do you. No more pity parties, sob stories, and boo-hoos. If no one told you that you're great, then let me be the first to. If you develop the thirst to drink from Faith's fountain, you'll develop the might to move mountains. You see, we remove tons of dirt to find 1 ounce of gold. So I ask you to remove tons of hurt and just uncover 1 ounce of your soul. You'll set yourself on a true path of excellence, getting out of your passenger seat and driving your own car, reaching for the moon, but maybe only landing among the stars. You see, you have greatness inside you, but you must choose to be great. Blaze a path of excellence, leaving fear in your wake. All you need is already inside you. You just must believe in yourself. Grow towards your greatness and discover your true wealth. Stay out there in this walk, y'all. Stay inspired. Peace.
Thank you, Jewish World Watch, for the unique learning experience from the victim stories, hands-on activities, and exhibitions. You've inspired my students to bring awareness by creating an event with similar ideas at our annual Dragon Festival.
Hi, I'm Jane Cohen, and I am honored to be the co-chair of Jewish World Watch's Board of Directors. On behalf of the board, I want to thank you for coming together today. And while we all stay safe at home, caring about people in parts of the world who can't stay safe at home. You have heard how we are able to support life-changing work around the world in conflict areas like the Democratic Republic of the Congo. You can continue to support our projects in various countries by donating at jww.org/give. We are equally proud of the work that we do here at home in advocacy and educational work with students and with adults. Now you're going to hear a few words from some of the students who have been involved with our programs, and I hope you'll be as excited as we all are. Thank you.
Jewish World Watch has taught me leadership skills that I've been able to apply to all aspects of my education. It's been super helpful in supporting all of the projects that my group envisions, and it helps us to bring these ideas to life. For example, just this year, JWW provided a lot of the supplies, information, and assistance that we needed to form a museum of modern genocide at school. JWW has taught us, all of us, so much about empathy, current events, and current atrocities around the world.
My name is Sydney Stern, and I'm a freshman in high school, and I support Jewish World Watch because I know I can make a difference in people's lives to help end genocide.
Hi, I'm Amy Friedman Cecil, Director of Education for Jewish World Watch. Our world would be much better if we would all learn to focus on the things that make us the same rather than on the things that make us different. In just a moment, I'm going to share with you one of my favorite stories that helps remind me that this is one world and we are one people, no matter how different we may look. I hope you enjoy it. Now the Starbelly Sneetches had bellies with stars. The plain-belly sneetches had none upon theirs. Those stars weren't so big, they were really so small, you might think such a thing wouldn't matter at all. But because they had stars, all the star-belly sneetches would brag, "We're the best kinds of sneetch on the beaches." With their snoots in the air, they would sniff and they'd snort, "We'll have nothing to do with the plain-belly sort." And whenever they met some, when they were out walking, they'd hike right on past them without even talking. When the star-belly children went out to play ball, could a plain belly get in the game? Not at all. You only could play if your bellies had stars, and the plain belly children had none upon theirs. When the star-belly sneetches had frankfurter roasts or picnic or parties or marshmallow toasts, they never invited the plain-belly sneetches. They left them out cold in the dark of the beaches. They kept them away, never let them come near, and that's how they treated them year after year. Then one day, it seems, while the plain-belly sneetches were moping and doping alone on the beaches, just sitting there wishing their bellies had stars, a stranger zipped up in the strangest of cars. "My friends," he announced in a voice clear and keen, "my name is Sylvester McMonkey McBean, and I've heard of your troubles. I've heard you're unhappy, but I can fix that. I'm the fix-it-up chappie. I've come here to help you. I have what you need, and my prices are low, and I work at great speed, and my work is 100% guaranteed." Then quickly Sylvester McMonkey McBean put together a very peculiar machine, and he said, "You want stars like a star-belly sneetch? My friends, you can have them for $3 each. Just pay me your money and hop right on board." So they clambered inside, and the big machine roared, and it clunked, and it bunked, and it jerked, and it burked, and it bopped them about. But the thing really worked. When the plain-belly sneetches popped out, they had stars. They actually did. They had stars upon theirs. Then they yelled at the ones who had stars at the start, "We're exactly like you! You can't tell us apart! We're all just the same now, you snooty old smarties! And now we can go to your frankfurter parties!" "Good grief," groaned the ones who had stars at the first. "We're still the best sneetches, and they are the worst. But now, how in the world will we know," they all frowned, "if which kind is what, or the other way round?" Then up came McBean with a very sly wink, and he said, "Things are not quite as bad as you think. So you don't know who's who. That is perfectly true. But come with me, friends. Do you know what I'll do? I'll make you again the best sneetches on beaches. And all it will cost you is $10 eaches." "Belly stars are no longer in style," said McBean. "What you need is a trip through my star-off machine. This wondrous contraption will take off your stars so you won't look like sneetches who have them on theirs." And that handy machine working very precisely, removed all the stars from their tummies quite nicely. Then with snoots in the air, they paraded about and they opened their beaks and they let out a shout. We know who is who, now there isn't a doubt. The best kind of Sneetches are Sneetches without. Then, of course, those with stars all got frightfully mad. To be wearing a star now was frightfully bad. Then, of course, old Sylvester McMonkey McBean invited them into his star-off machine. Then, of course, from then on, as you probably guess, things really got into a horrible mess. Oh, the rest of that day on those wild screaming beaches, the fix-it-up chappie kept fixing up Sneetches. Off again, on again, in again, out again. Through the machines they raced round and about again, changing their stars every minute or two. They kept paying money, they kept running through. Until neither the plane nor the starbellies knew whether this one was that one, or that one was this one, or which one was what one, or what one was who. Then, when every last cent of their money was spent, the fix-it-up chappie packed up, and he went. And he laughed as he drove in his car up the beach. They never will learn. No, you can't teach a Sneetch. But McBean was quite wrong. I'm quite happy to say that the Sneetches got really quite smart on that day. The day they decided that Sneetches are Sneetches, and no kind of Sneetch is the best on the beaches. That day, all the Sneetches forgot about stars and whether they had one or not upon theirs. The end. Or maybe the beginning. Thank you all for attending this virtual gathering. Thank you, Amani. Thank you, Omakongo Dubinga. Thank you, Jane and Susan and Anne and the people behind the scenes. And most of all of you who took time out of your mornings to join us today. There are many additional ways that you can support JWW's mission, even when you cannot walk to end genocide. You can go to jww.org to take our legislative actions. You can attend future webinars, sign up for book club and our Teen Ambassador program, and of course, through your donations, which bring help and healing and hope to our brothers and sisters in the DRC, Sudan, Chad, Bangladesh, Syria, and China. And now a final word from one of our students. Stay safe.
Hi guys, I hope you're all safe. My name is Brandon Savakuli and I'm a student at a Jewish day school called Milken Community Schools in Los Angeles. And just today we were commemorating the day of Yom HaShoah, the day of the Holocaust, remembering our obligation to never again allow these acts of genocide. And together with JWW, we are doing just that. I am a part of a cohort of teenagers at our school who want to spread awareness and educate the student body about acts of genocide and refugee crises all over the world and what JWW does to effectively mobilize against them. Thank you so much.